Hello, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Cassie, and today I am recording my very first YouTube video for this channel. Some things I want to go over are some issues that I have noticed in the trans community, being a transgender woman myself. Some things that are very alarming to me is this ability to self-identify and the implications it has for the whole community and for those who are not in the community, for society as a whole. Another thing I want to talk about is people are appropriating being trans, such as saying that they're non-binary, that they are gender non-conforming, and trying to embed themselves inside of the trans umbrella. Also, I want to talk about this ideology that you can supposedly be trans and not have any dysphoria, and that you also do not need to put in any effort into your transition and have the world accept you for whatever you say you are. This is very problematic, and I would love to get into this in a second. And one thing I really want to address that a lot of women are very upset about is that transgender women often will over talk and talk over the cis women that we are trying to identify with. I want to be transparent and just let you know that I have no experience uploading videos to YouTube outside of school projects. I never wanted to do YouTube beforehand, but here I am because there are so many issues inside the trans community. Also, I have typed out some bullet points on my computer screen, so if you see me looking away from the camera, I am just glancing at them to make sure that I stay on topic. Before I get into all the topics, first I want to talk about what is and what is not a transgender person. What is not a transgender person would be someone who is gender nonconforming and a person who is non-binary. A transgender person is someone who is born either male or female and has an incongruence with their gender relative to their birth sex. Such as someone who is born biologically male and identifies as a woman because they have gender dysphoria. So I want to talk about self-ID and talk about why it is such a problem. Self-ID pretty much just says that all that someone needs to do is to say that they are trans, such as being a trans woman, and that is all that is needed, and they don't even need to get a proper diagnosis of gender dysphoria. A reason this is a problem is because it is very important to go to a therapist and get a proper diagnosis, because there are a lot of psychological issues and mental disorders that actually mimic the same symptoms as gender dysphoria. It would be very harmful to a person to self-ID and to not actually be trans and to go down this route and end up regretting it later and detransitioning. Additionally, self-ID also opens up the gates for bad actors and enables people to take advantage of the situation, such as cross-dressers that want to say that they are women who are not trans to go into women's spaces to fulfill their sexual fantasies. One byproduct of self-ID is actually people appropriating what it means to be transgender and trying to fit themselves within the transgender letter within LGBT. Some examples would be people who say that you don't even need gender dysphoria to be trans, which makes absolutely no sense. People who say that you don't even need to transition in order to be transition or to enter women's spaces. And pretty much people saying that they can do whatever they want and the rest of the world can just have to go along with it. I understand why so many people are upset with the trans community that are not a part of the trans community, and I am here to address those issues. Lately, I've been noticing this insane uptick in this ideology that no effort or little effort is needed in someone's transition in order for them to have the world see them for who they are. I cannot comprehend why someone who wants to be seen in the world as a woman would think that having a full beard is okay, and also to think that having their male parts down below being completely noticeable for some reason is an indicator that someone is a woman. It goes back to what is a transgender person. A transgender person is someone who has gender dysphoria. So if you have gender dysphoria and you are a trans woman, why are you not trying to alleviate this gender dysphoria? Additionally, by having that beard and by having all these other masculine traits and not trying to put effort into your transition, you are making other people feel uncomfortable. And lately, I've been noticing that whenever women speak up about this, there's pushback and they are called transphobic and told pretty much to shut up. Trans women want to be accepted and seen as women, so I cannot fathom or understand why my community wants to go to these women and try to tell them, hey, you need to shut up, we're going to do it this way, and you have no say. It makes absolutely no sense. Why are we overshadowing these women? I also want to try to use this channel to bridge the gap in between the trans and the non trans community. I think that if there is a center ground where the trans community and the people who are not part of the trans community feel comfortable coming together and talking and trying to understand one each other rather than trying to be pushed away like polar opposites, I think that there is a lot of good that could come from this discussion. So to go more in depth about my personal introduction, now that I've passed through what I want to do for the channel, um, I have known for a long time, since I was about 5 years old, that I am trans, and then I felt like I was a girl. I came out to the first people when I was in fourth grade, and at that time, that would have been 1997. The first time my family member was told was in sixth grade when in 1999. And I started my first bit of transition back in 2013, and I started HRT in 2013. And for disclosure, I went through about 2 years of HRT, and then some things happened in my life that were not related to being trans, and I had to briefly detransition for a while. Um, I got back onto HRT, and I am several years back into HRT, and I am actually making a lot of progress, and this has been the best decision for me. Additionally, I am 100% profoundly deaf in my left ear, and I have a lot of hearing loss in my right ear. So I have a vision for this channel, and there are so many things that I can just not cram into my first YouTube video without making it several hours long. So a short synopsis of what I would like to cover would be about talking about positive things within the trans community, things that we get right. I also want to talk out about things whenever I see issues within the trans community and when the community has overstepped. I also want to try to give advice such as how to act or how to better go about something in a certain situation. For example, um, someone misgenders you and you're early on in your transition. What do you do? The best thing to do is probably not to have a public outburst. You could try to correct this person, but I think it's very important to realize that it's going to take time for your body to change, and it's also going to take a while for the society around you to see those changes and adapt to you as well, and realize that you can actually use the way that people are talking to you and seeing you and reacting to you to judge how your transition is going. So as I'm coming to the end of this video, I want to make it clear that I am not just here to talk down to people. I'm not just here to be right. And I genuinely want to have discussions with people and interact with people. I understand that I have a lot of things that I can educate people on, but I understand that I have things that I can be educated on myself. I know that I do not have all the answers, and as a firm believer and someone that always wants to learn, that means that I have to be open to having my positions change whenever I learn something new. Additionally, I want to be able to use this channel to bridge the gap in between the trans community and the non-trans community. I thank you so much for your time, and I really hope this channel takes off. And I love you so much. Thank you. Bye.